Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the show that takes source material, slices it open, and really pulls out the key stuff you need to know.
Exactly. We wade through it so you don't have to, finding those essential insights and, surprising details.
Think of us as your guides through the info jungle, and today we're tackling something absolutely core for anyone playing Dungeons & Dragons, especially with the brand new 2024 rules.
Yeah, we're diving into character origins, specifically Chapter 4, based on the materials you shared with us. Chapters 1 and 2 provide some context, but Chapter 4 is where the real meat is.
Right. Our mission today is to help you get a solid grip on those first big choices you make when creating your character. It's all about who they were before the adventure starts.
This is really the foundation, isn't it? It sets up not just their abilities, but their whole identity.
Okay, so let's dig in. Character origin, according to the source, is basically made of two key parts: background and species.
That's right. And they're meant to mesh together. They reflect, your character's history, their life circumstances, what they learned growing up or out in the world before they became an adventurer.
Everything that shaped them before level 1.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it feels like this 2024 update really emphasizes this origin concept, maybe more than before.
It seems like it. Chapter 4 really puts it front and center.
Absolutely. The mechanics tied into origin choices, they have a pretty significant impact right from the get-go.
So let's break down that first piece. Character background. What exactly is a background in these new rules?
Okay, so a background is basically a snapshot. It's a collection of characteristics representing your life before adventuring. It gives you a little narrative hook, a suggestion for your past.
But it's not just flavor text anymore, right? It has real mechanical weight.
Oh, definitely. That's one of the big shifts. Backgrounds now grant several key things. First up, ability scores.
Ah, yeah, this seemed important.
It is. Your background gives you ability score increases. You boost one score by 2 and another different score by 1. Or you have another option. You can choose to increase 3 different scores by 1 each.
That's flexible.
Very. And the source is clear. These increases can't push a score above 20. Standard cap.
So getting stats from your background, not just your species, how does that change things?
Well, it kind of decouples ability scores from species in a way we haven't really seen before. It means your background choice, your character's lived experience, has a much more direct mechanical impact on your core stats.
Right, so you're not just picking a species because it gives you the +2 dexterity you want.
Exactly. It opens up way more character concepts. You can have a dwarf who's surprisingly charismatic because they were an entertainer, or, a halfling sage who's incredibly wise.
I like that. It feels more organic. Okay, what else comes with the background?
You also get a specific feat.
A whole feat at level 1.
Yep. Tied directly to your background. Now, the details on all the feats are in another chapter. We won't dive into those specifics today. But the key thing is your background gives you one. Think of it like a special talent honed by your past life.
That's pretty significant. Okay, what else?
Skill proficiencies.
Yeah.
Every background grants proficiency in 2 specific skills. So, an acolyte might get insight and religion. A criminal might get deception and stealth. Makes sense.
Yeah, straightforward. And tools.
Tool proficiency. You get proficiency with one specific tool or maybe one type of gaming set. Again, rules for tools are elsewhere, but your background is where you get that initial knack.
Okay, and the last bit is gear.
Right. Equipment. Your background gives you starting gear. Usually there's a choice, like option A or option B listed right there, and it includes a specific amount of starting gold pieces, too.
So it literally equips you based on your past life. Makes sense.
It really helps ground where you're starting from.
The sources lay out 16 backgrounds. That's a good range. Let's list them off. Acolyte, artisan, charlatan, criminal.
Entertainer, farmer, guard, guide, hermit.
Merchant, noble, sage, sailor, scribe.
Soldier, and wayfarer.
Quite the list. Plenty of archetypes to start with.
Yeah, from scholars to soldiers to simple farmers. Lots of possibility.
Okay, that covers backgrounds pretty well. Let's shift to the other half, character species.
Right, species. This is about your character's fundamental nature. Are you a human, or are you one of the, fantastical peoples, like a dragonborn or an elf or a gnome?
This determines your physical form, obviously, but it also brings its own set of innate abilities and sort of shapes your worldview.
Definitely. It's great fuel for the imagination, thinking about their earliest days, their culture, their instincts. Mechanically, species provides a few key things.
Like?
First, creature type. For most player characters, this is just humanoid. It matters for certain spells and effects, things that target humanoids specifically.
Gotcha. Then size. Small, medium.
Usually small or medium for player species. Sometimes a species might offer a choice between the two. Size affects things like what space you occupy, reach, sometimes squeezing through tight spots.
And speed, how far you move each turn. Simple but vital.
Very. Then you have the special traits. This is where the really unique stuff comes in.
Like dark vision or maybe special movement.
Exactly. Innate magic, resistances, unique senses, things tied to the species' physiology or magical nature, often involves making a choice from a list within the species' traits, too.
The sources also mention lifespan.
Yeah, just briefly. It says most species live about 80 years, with exceptions, obviously. But interestingly, they reach physical maturity around the same age. And you can generally pick whatever age you want for your character, unless the description says otherwise.
Okay. And languages, how does that work?
Languages are tied in, too. Every character knows at least 2 languages to start.
Common
And one other language from the standard languages table. Knowing a language means you can speak it, read it, and write it.
And there's that cool bit of lore about Common originating from Sigil, the city at the center of the multiverse.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah.
So the standard languages listed are Common, from Sigil, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, and Orc. Pretty much what you'd expect.
And then there are rare languages.
Right. These are often tied to specific planes, creatures, or like secret societies. The list includes Abyssal, Demons, Celestials, Deep Speech, Aberrations, think Mind Flayers, Druidic, the secret language of Druids, Infernal Devils.
Primordial elementals, Sylvan, fey creatures, thieves, cant, the coded language of rogues, and Undercommon, used in the Underdark.
Choosing your languages isn't just a mechanical choice, it adds depth. Why does your character know Infernal or Druidic? It hints at their past.
Absolutely. Okay, let's get into the specific species detailed in the source material. First up, Dragonborn.
Ah, Dragonborn, very cool. Their origins are tied to dragons, either hatched from eggs blessed by Bahamut or Tiamat, or maybe even created directly by dragons. They look like humanoid dragons, basically. Scales, horns, bright eyes.
They are humanoid, medium-sized, typically 5 to 7 feet tall. Speed is 30 feet.
Their main thing is draconic ancestry.
Yeah.
You pick a type of dragon as your ancestor.
And that choice determines your damage type and resistance, right?
Exactly. The options are black acid, blue lightning, brass fire, bronze lightning, copper acid, gold fire, green poison, red fire, silver, cold, and white cold. So, 10 choices.
And this links directly to their breath weapon.
Yep. As an attack action, you breathe energy. It's either a 15-foot cone or a 30-foot line, your choice each time. Anyone caught in it makes a dexterity saving throw.
The DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your constitution modifier.
Right. Fail the save, take full damage. Succeed, take half. The damage type matches your chosen ancestry.
And the damage, it scales.
It does. Starts at 1d10, which is okay. But it increases by another 1d10 when your character hits level 5, then again at level 11, and again at level 17. So it stays relevant as you level up.
Wow, okay. How often can you use it?
A number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You get all uses back on a long rest.
That's pretty frequent, especially at higher levels. Nice.
What else? You get damage resistance to the same type as your ancestry. Make sense? And dark vision up to 60 feet. Standard stuff.
But then there's the level 5 feature.
Ah, yes. Draconic Flight. This is huge. At character level 5, you can use a bonus action to manifest spectral wings.
Spectral wings. Cool.
Yeah. You get a fly speed equal to your normal speed for 10 minutes. Or until you end it early, or if you get incapacitated.
And how often can you do that?
Once per long rest.
Yeah.
But still, flight, even temporary flight, is a massive tactical advantage.
No kidding. Being able to just fly up out of reach or get across a chasm at level 5, that changes encounters.
Big time. Dragonborn really come into their own at level 5 with that.
Okay, next up, Elf.
Elves. They're connected to ancient lineages that grant them sort of innate magical abilities. You get a benefit from your chosen lineage right at level 1.
And then more as you level up.
Yeah, you learn higher level spells associated with that lineage levels 3 and 5. You can cast each of these lineage spells once per long rest without using a spell slot.
And you can swap the cantrip.
Right, the level 1 lineage cantrip. You can actually swap it for a different one from your lineage list whenever you finish a long rest. Bit of flexibility there.
Okay. Stats-wise, humanoid, medium size, about 5-6 feet tall. Base speed, 30 feet.
Standard. Their special traits include dark vision, 60 feet, and the classic Fey ancestry.
Advantage on saves against being charmed, right? Magic can't put you to sleep either. Is that part of it?
The sleep immunity is part of trance, actually.
Yeah.
Fey ancestry is just the advantage against charm. But yeah, trance means they don't sleep. They meditate for 4 hours to get the benefits of a long rest. And, yeah, can't be magically put to sleep.
I'm handy. What else?
Keen senses. You get proficiency in one skill from this list. Insight, perception, or survival. Your choice.
Okay. And the lineages.
Right, you choose an elven lineage. The sources detail 3, Drow, High Elf, and Wood Elf.
Drow get better dark vision?
Yep, Drow dark vision goes out to 120 feet. Big difference in the dark. And they know the Dancing Lights cantrip.
High elf.
They know the Prestidigitation cantrip. And they have that unique flexibility. They can swap Prestidigitation for a different cantrip from the wizard spell list after any long rest.
Oh, that's interesting. Lots of utility potential there.
Definitely. And Wood Elf. They're faster. Their speed increases to 35 feet. And they know the Druidcraft cantrip.
So each lineage gives a distinct flavor and a specific mechanical benefit, mostly magical or movement-based.
Exactly. Tailors the elf concept a bit more.
All right, moving on. Gnome.
Gnomes. Described as magical folks often tied to gods of invention, illusion, maybe life underground. They tend to be secretive, preferring forests or burrows.
And clever builders, right. Mentions cities with traps and labyrinths.
Yeah, fun detail. Their connection to gods like Garl Glittergold led to their magic and eventually the different lineages. They live a long time, over 400 years. And they have that characteristic look, big eyes, pointed ears. Oh, and that bit about ceilings being just roofs to them.
Huh. Love that. Okay, stats. Humanoid, small size, 3 to 4 feet, speed 30 feet.
Their traits. Dark vision, 60 feet. And gnomish cunning. This one's really good.
What was it do again?
Advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws.
All 3 mental saves. Wow, that's huge for resisting spells and nasty effects.
It really is. Makes them surprisingly resilient mentally. And like elves, they choose a gnomish lineage. 2 options here. Forest gnome or rock gnome.
Forest gnome.
Simple.
Yeah.
They know the minor illusion cantrip, great for tricks and distractions.
And rock gnome, they get more stuff, right?
They do. Rock gnomes know 2 cantrips, mending and prestidigitation. And they have their signature ability, making clockwork devices.
The little toys. Tell me about those.
Okay, so you spend 10 minutes tinkering, and you create this tiny clockwork device. It's fragile, only 1 HP. You decide when you make it what it does. It could be a little toy that moves around, or it can start or put out a small fire, or it can be a music box.
Not weapons then, just utility.
The source mentions launching darts, but implies it's more like a minor effect, not really combat damage. The main uses seem to be ignition, music, or just being a little animated toy. It lasts for 8 hours or until you touch it to dismiss it.
How many can you have?
A number active at once equal to your proficiency bonus. It's a fantastic flavor ability. It really captures that inventor spirit.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun for creative players. Okay, last species detailed. Goliath.
Goliaths, towering folk, descended from giants. They carry blessings, sort of supernatural boons from those giant ancestors.
And they can temporarily grow larger?
Yeah, tap into that giant heritage. They also have physical traits that might resemble specific giant types, like stone or frost giants. The source mentions there's some debate about whether modern giants see them as kin, but the Goliaths themselves draw strength from their ancestry.
Makes sense. Mechanics. Humanoid, medium size, but tall, 7-8 feet. And a fast speed, 35 feet.
Their traits are all tied to that giant connection. Giant ancestry gives you a supernatural boon. You pick one type of giant, and you get a corresponding ability you can use a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest.
What are the options?
Okay, you can choose. Fire's Burn, Fire Giant. Add 1d10 fire damage to 1 hit per turn when you take the attack action. Frost's Chill, Frost Giant. Add 1d6 cold damage and reduce the target's speed by 10 feet on a hit. Hill's Tumble, Hill Giant. When you hit a creature small or larger, you can try to knock it prone. Stone's Endurance, Stone Giant. Use your reaction when you take damage to reduce it by 1d12 plus your Constitution modifier. Storm's Thunder, Storm Giant. Use an action to create a thunderclap, dealing 1d8 thunder damage to creatures within 30 feet. Cloud's Jaunt, Cloud Giant. Use an action to teleport up to 30 feet to a spot you can see.
Whoa! Those are all really impactful. Damage boosts, control, defense, area effect, mobility. That's a major choice impacting your playstyle.
Absolutely. It really lets you specialize your Goliath's combat role based on their ancestry. But that's not all.
There's more.
Large form. Starting at level 5, just like the Dragonborn Flight, Goliaths get a big power-up. As a bonus action, you can grow to large size for 10 minutes.
Become actually large. What does that do?
Advantage on strength checks, and your speed increases by another 10 feet. Plus, being large has other implications for reach and space. You get this back after a long rest.
Another level 5 game changer. Going from medium to large on command is huge.
Literally. And finally, they have powerful build. Advantage on saves related to being grappled, making or ending it, and you count as one size larger for carrying capacity.
So strong, tough, fast, with powerful ancestry boons and the ability to temporarily become large. Goliaths sound formidable.
They definitely carve out a niche as powerful, resilient, physically imposing characters.
Okay, so we've got backgrounds giving skills, stats, a feat, gear,
Yeah.
and species giving physical form, core abilities, maybe innate magic, special traits. How do they really work together?
They're designed as two halves of your character's starting point. The background is your nurture, what you learned, experienced, how society shaped you. The species is your nature, your inherent biology, potential, maybe cultural roots.
And together they paint the picture of who you were right before deciding to go adventuring.
Exactly. And the mechanics reflect that. Your background's feat might complement your species' traits, or maybe they create an interesting contrast. It gives you a launch pad for your imagination.
The source material even gives you those prompt questions to think about, right? Like, who raised you? Did you have a childhood friend? Were you in love? Did you join a group?
Yeah, those questions are great. They encourage you to think beyond the stats and connect your choices to a real story. Why does your sailor background character know elvish? Maybe they sailed with an elven crew. It all adds layers.
So, wrapping this up, character origin background plus species, it's a really crucial first step in building a character under these 2024 rules.
Absolutely fundamental. It provides those immediate mechanical building blocks, stats, feat, skills, unique abilities, gear. But also, just as important, it provides the narrative hooks.
It's the foundation for everything your character will become. These choices define where they start, what they know, and what they're capable of right out of the gate.
It's the seed from which the whole adventure grows. Your hero starts here.
Okay, so here's something to think about as you're building your next character with these rules.
Consider this. How does this specific blend work? Take your background, maybe a quiet scholarly sage, and combine it with your species, maybe a powerful, intimidating dragonborn. What kinds of interesting internal conflicts or unexpected strength might come out of that specific mix? How does the life they lived clash or mesh with the nature they were born with?
Ooh, I like that. Thinking about those intersections. Okay. If you found this deep dive into character origins helpful for getting started with the 2024 D&D rules, definitely hit that like button.
Yeah, and if you want more deep dives where we unpack the rules, the lore, maybe some monster stats, well, you should subscribe to Dragons and Disasters.
Let us know down in the comments what part of character origins you found most interesting. Are you excited about the background feats, the species updates? Or maybe tell us what background and species combo you're thinking of trying out. Or hey, what rules should we dive into next?